Alright, before I go any further with my review of Dragon Ball Super Episode 21, I just want to say that if I sound a little bit weird on this review, it's because I'm not in my regular studio. I'm actually on the road right now. I did just finish watching the episode, so if I sound weird, please excuse it. It's just for this week. I am on the road. I'm not in my studio. So let's talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 21. And it is called Fukushu no Hajimaru. Freeza gu no Akui ga Gohan no Utsu, which translates to The Revenge Begins, the Freeza Army's Malice Strikes Gohan. This episode pretty much began the portion of the film of Resurrection F, the adaptation into Dragon Ball Super, of the battle between the Z Fighters and Freeza. The Z Fighters and Frieza's army. The Z Fighters all land in the battlefield, and then what happens is they're talking, and they basically are having a very similar conversation that they had in the film, as well as in the manga. Those of you who have actually read the Resurrection F manga that Toyotaro put out back in April, you'll remember that he talked about a line about Yamcha and Tenshinhan and Buu. They did restore the line about Buu, so that line about Buu sleeping is intact. But they did not mention Goten or Trunks. More on that later. So, this episode of Dragon Ball Super was, even though the fighting was not as badass as it was in the film, but let's give them a break. That might get made up for in the next couple weeks. I thought the film's choreography was fantastic. This was still really, really fun. Frieza shows up. He sees Gohan. He recognizes Gohan, and he recognizes Krillin. Those are 2 points that I really liked. And so then Frieza's army, of course, attacks, and the choreography in the episode and the animation's obviously not going to be up to the same quality as the film was, but I thought it was very, very good. However, that was mostly the first half. The second half of the episode is where they really started to diverge things, and I was really, really happy. You know, the opposite of last week was this week. I really enjoyed this episode because they took what was in the movie, they took some of the problems that existed in the film, and they expounded upon it, and namely, most of it comes from a guy named Tagoma, which we're going to get to here in just a moment. Frieza comes up with a plan to anger Goku by having his henchmen kill Krillin, with the idea being that if they successfully kill Krillin, that Goku will be mad. Because, you know, that was a great idea the last time he tried that, right? I don't know what this guy's thinking. He just doesn't learn a lesson. I mean, come on, man. You're coming back. You're fighting and a little malnutritioned in your training, so to speak. At least that's how it was in the movie. And you're going to freaking do the same thing that pissed them off last time? Alright, whatever. So they have this little cool scene where they surround Krillin, and Krillin's like kind of concerned, but Krillin eventually just says, fuck it, these guys are pussies, and pretty much just fights back and whoops their ass. Now, we did see a very brief scene with Goku and Vegeta and Whis training. A little bit different than the film. Actually, very different. Whis basically creates a portal with his wand and sends Goku and Vegeta to another world or another realm where he says they can get a lot stronger. Now, I'm very curious about where this is going. Very curious. New stuff. Very excited about it. It looks like maybe that's where they fully unlock their blue-haired forms. I guess we're going to find out soon. I'm excited about this because this is kind of the stuff that I was hoping we would see in the film, and now we're seeing in the series. Again, the series is actually accomplishing things that the movie failed to do now, making up for last week. So I'm very happy about that. Now, the big shocker at the end of the episode is, of course, Tagoma. So the Z Fighters are pretty much whooping the ass of all these freaking jabronis, and Tagoma steps up. And Tagoma, well, actually, there's another scene. Okay, I'm jumping ahead here. So Shizami, big red Shizami, the fight with Piccolo does not happen in this version. Shizami attacks Gohan in his base form and puts him in a bear hug. And Gohan's like struggling to get out, you know, and then all of a sudden there's a beam that shoots Shizami from behind and puts a hole in his back. So Shizami's dead. And then Gohan has the same hole. It's like, what the fuck? So this blast actually shot through Shizami and it shot through Gohan. Gohan goes down. Piccolo then resuscitates him with his hand, brings him back up, and then what happens is they give him a senzu, just like in the movie. So basically that first form Frieza punch where he punched Gohan in the film, that's been replaced by Tagoma's little beam. So now Tagoma is like, wait a minute, this is like the opposite of what they did with that character in the film. In the film, as you guys remember, Tagoma was killed like a bitch Frieza's first victim. He just blew his ass out of the ship. Here, Tagoma is now the second most powerful member of Frieza's army. This is a new thing, and I like it. I like the fact that they had a complete role reversal here for Tagoma. Tagoma went from being a joke to being a serious threat. And I love how, he actually hurt Gohan. Let's see how strong he really is. Now, as a result of that beam, Goten and Trunks, who are away playing, they're not asleep in this version of the story. They hear it and they say, they sense it, and they sense the power, and they fly off. Now, this is great. And if you watch the next episode preview, you know that, yes, Gotenks and Goten and Trunks are going to be fighting in this version. A lot of people were pissed about Goten and Trunks not being in this fucking version of the story. And now he is in, and I'm very happy. He hit Gotenks, whatever. They are in. I'm happy about it. I think that's fucking awesome. And I really like that. And I really like how they are, maybe Boo will appear. I don't think so, but I like how they're incorporating them in there, and they will be a force to be reckoned with next week. Tagoma, of course, reveals that he was Frieza's training partner, and that Frieza would beat him within an inch of his life and then make him heal himself so he can train again the next day. Kind of like a Zenkai boost, it seems. Fantastic stuff. Really enjoyed this episode. Really excited about where they're going to go next week. It looks like Ginyu is going to be taking over Tagoma's body. Don't know if that's a good idea or not. Does Ginyu know how to control that body? Probably not. Looks like Ginyu Frog is back for that. Very, very excited about what Tagoma's going to do. It looks like Tagoma's going to go one-on-one with Piccolo and Gotenks. So we'll see what happens. Again, this version of the Resurrection F story is becoming much more satisfying as far as the story goes than the film. And of course, Goku and Vegeta's train, something else to look forward to. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts below. Did you like the episode or not? Again, I apologize for the weird audio. It'll be back to normal next week. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll catch y'all down the road.